What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Millennial Heretic. I want to take a few minutes to talk about immigration. It's a hot topic right now, something that I'm really fascinated with, and I love to think about. I think about it all day, every day. I see it every day. I see people from all over the world. I live in the Twin Cities, Minnesota. We've got large Hispanic community, large Somali community, obviously a large majority white population. We've got lots of blacks here. We've got people from Myanmar, and possibly soon people from Syria. And we've got Russians. We've got a whole lot of different kinds of people here. So I just want to talk about the basics. And Minnesota, like the rest of the country, had a massive wave of European people, men and women, in the 1800s and the 1900s to escape war and starvation and economic hardship across the ocean. They came here and spread throughout the country. In this particular region we had Swedes, Poles, Italians, Germans, and Norwegians, and a few others. And they had their own hardships when they got here. They worked in a lot in the mining and the foresting occupations. We had lots of tree cutting, house building, factories. We got the Great Mill Factory here. Mississippi River runs through our area. So there was a lot of economic activity going on, and people were coming from all over Europe to be a part of it. They had their hardship in the beginning. They had a hard time getting along. They didn't speak the same language. They spoke many different languages. They had different white ethnicities. They had different cultures. But these differences were subtle. Yeah, they were different ethnicities, came from different regions, but they were all white. Yes, they spoke different languages, but they had similar languages, where certain words and ways that sentences are compounded and ways things are pronounced are put together. They had similar religions. It might be slightly different. Some might be Catholic, some might be Christian, some might be Lutheran. But these aren't wildly different. And within a generation or two, they basically just blended in, and it's hard to tell, one ethnicity apart from another, unless you look into their family history or maybe reading off their last name. There was a lot of intercultural marriage, and so they all blended in relatively easily. But today, you've got so many people coming in from so different parts of the world with vastly different cultures and life experiences and languages. So everybody's, there's this narrative that immigration is such a wonderful thing and it's the right thing to do, but why doesn't anybody ever talk about the problems associated with immigration? They always just talk about how good it is to do it, but they never really say what good comes out of it. So in Europe and Germany right now, I think they've gotten over 1 million Syrians, and it's causing all kinds of problems. Like, women are getting raped all over the place by young Syrian men. And obviously, refugee immigrants that move to Western countries, most of them are on welfare and are dependent on welfare and have a hard time integrating into society. Because these groups of people don't have any incentive. They don't want to integrate into society. They want to maintain their language, they want to maintain their culture, they want to maintain their religion, and that's completely understandable. Wouldn't you want to do that if you moved to another country? Wouldn't you want to hold on to some of the things that you grew up with and recognize and understand and know and love, that's perfectly normal. But when you have vastly different cultures coming together, you can't have harmony, you can't have unity. As great as it sounds, as great as it is to hope for, it's not likely, it's not realistic, it hasn't ever happened. People want to stick together with their own kind, it's natural. I mean, people want to stick by what they know. Now, if you lived in a homogeneous society, in a homogeneous neighborhood, you'd have people that live around you that basically know who you are and what you're into and what the cultural norms of that neighborhood are. They know the social taboos, things that are appropriate, not appropriate, jokes, languages, customs, holidays. You'd have all that stuff in common. Now imagine a pie chart where you take one homogeneous society and you divide it up into 5 different societies. Is it really going to be that easy to get to know everybody and be on the same page and on the same terms and have the same values? No way. How can that work? If you were going to raise a family, would you rather raise it in a community where you knew the customs and languages and traditions of everyone around you, and it was a good society that you could trust, that you didn't have to lock your doors every day, and you could send your kids down the street to the park without having to worry about them? Well, when you have waves of other people coming into your community, you no longer understand who these people are and what they're all about. You never can. You can never learn everything. You can never totally understand it. And the more groups that come in, the more you have to deal with. So it just doesn't make any sense economically. It doesn't make any sense sociologically, especially when you can help these people in other ways. I certainly want the best for the people of Syria. But if you want to help the people of Syria, why don't you donate to them? Help them in other ways. But we shouldn't have to be forced to help them. We shouldn't be forced to pay taxes, forced to support people who really don't want anything to do with you and probably don't even like you. I mean, we've been in their countries, a lot of those countries over there, destroying them. And why would you go into a country and destroy the country and invite them to come to your home territory? How can that work? It's never worked, and it never will. So it's cultural suicide. You can't have waves of refugee immigration without having societal disintegration. Yes, you will still have society, but you will have more problems in society. No, it's not a nice thing to say, it's not a nice thing to talk about, but it's real, it's reality. It's real. We gotta be real and realistic and start making choices and doing things that make sense. We gotta look after ourselves first. We gotta take care of ourselves. And stop taking care of people that are trying to tear you down, or people that are going to leech off of you and that don't care about your interests and care about their own. We all want to live, we all want to thrive, we all want our tribe to thrive. But when you have different tribes coming together, you will have tribal battles. And you cannot have harmony. Well, that's the basics of immigration. I will go into it in more depth later. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for listening to The Millennial Heretic. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like this channel, please subscribe. We'll talk to you later.